totally thrilled to have two brilliant legends with us today. Over there, I hope, is Sally Abe from the PEM.
Yes, we're here.
And we're joined by her new head chef, Jenny. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
What are you cooking for us today?
We're going to be making our crab crumpet dish. So it's beautifully homemade crumpets, which we make fresh every day in the restaurants. And we fry them off in brown butter, which makes them super delicious.
So I always thought making crumpets is like quite laborious. Is it quite a lot of work?
It's actually really, really simple.
So is that a myth then? They're quite simple to make?
They're really, really simple. It's just flour, water, yeast, baking powder, and that's it.
Okay.
It's like a wet batter, which is super bubbly, and that's what makes it so great for dressing crab on top of it, because all the flavours just seep into the crumpet. It's delicious.
How many of these do you think you make a day? And how many get eaten by the staff?
A lot get eaten by the staff. They always like to bring them home.
Yeah.
So the families and boyfriends are all very happy with this dish.
I'm not surprised. Right, we'll let you get on. I think Phil's just going to have a few quick words with Sally.
Yes, indeed. Sally, welcome to Chef HQ.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
we're on.
We're on.
So just tell the world who you are, what you do.
So I'm Sally. So I've got a restaurant called The PEM in the Conrad's London St James, which is in Westminster. Which the PEM, we have been there almost 3 years now. So I look after the food there, and I also look after the food for the Blue Ball pub, which is in the same hotel. So two concepts, both British concepts, but obviously one is a pub, so it's more relaxed dining. We do lovely fish and chips, burgers, that kind of thing. And then the PEM is a modern British offering, which is fine dining British food, essentially. So.
And am I right in thinking that this is the second incantation of the PEM, or
No, first one.
Okay, do your research, Phil. Do your
We just
research.
got a new kitchen last year, so we closed for a couple of
That's
months.
what it must have been. Yeah.
Got a lovely shiny new Ferrari. So.
Nice. So we'll come back to that in a second. But before all of that, how are you here? How did you get into the kitchen in the first place?
So I got into cooking after I left home. So I was living in Sheffield and working in a very boring office job, and just started cooking at home and just got really, really into it. And I thought, maybe I like this, so maybe I could make a career in it. I didn't really have a plan as such. So ended up enrolling on a hospitality business management degree at Sheffield Hallam, and was supposed to do 2 years at uni, a year in industry and then another year at uni, but I got the opportunity to come down to London to work for Gordon Ramsay. And I got down to London and I was like, yep, love it, not going back. So I stayed, and then 18 years later, still here. So it worked out all right.
The rest is history.
Yeah,
that's it. All right, well, thanks very much. You're kind of a really, really important figure now in the London landscape, I'd say. Your restaurant's getting great coverage. I'm hoping that business is good. Where did the idea come from?
the idea for the PEM.
Yeah.
So I got approached by the hotel in 2019. Actually, it was just before COVID, and they were looking for someone to partner with in the new for their new F&B concepts. And the story of the PEM basically came from my love for and support of women, and a lot of what I do sort of behind the scenes is about empowering women and the next generation of female chefs. So we really wanted to sort of dedicate the restaurant to strong women. So the PEM is named after Emily Wilding Davison, who was a suffragette. So PEM was her nickname. And we just wanted to dedicate it to a strong woman, and we couldn't think of anyone better than Emily.
Nice, yeah, and I suppose that you're kind of immortalising her in that way as well, just in terms of them bringing that kind of power that she represents into your space.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously it's named after a strong woman, but it doesn't mean that we don't want men to come and eat at the restaurant. They're more than welcome. Everyone's welcome. But yeah, it's important to sort of look at history of where we've come from, and then that will help us move forward and continue to strive to improve.
Yeah, great stuff.
So Phil, I'm just going to jump back in here because Jenny's finished the batter. So how long do you leave that to rest for?
Well, it needs to prove for like an hour, so
Okay.
unfortunately it's not going to be ready.
Okay.
But yeah,
But,
it takes about an hour.
usually you just cover it with a cloth, leave it somewhere warm
It's somewhere
for an hour.
warm.
Okay.
And it gets beautiful and bubbly.
Okay. And then once it's proven, is there much work you need to do then with the batter, or can you just work with it straight away?
No, you don't want to work it at all. You want to keep
Okay.
all the air in it. So we just use a ladle and we just pour it into the molds
Okay.
to try not to knock out any of the air.
And any fats or oils in the pan, or just a non-stick pan, or
Just non-stick pan, and we put a little bit of baking spray.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay. And what's going on here?
So here we have our Dorset crab, white crab meat. We get in the whole crabs and we steam them. We do like quite a good technique, which is like we weigh the crabs, and then that weight we times it by 0.07, and that's how many minutes it needs to be steamed for. So that it's always perfectly cooked crab meat. We use the brown crab meat also, which we just cook it down into it's like a really thick paste, and that mixes through our hollandaise. So we're using the whole part of the crab, and the crab shell we use to make a bisque in the restaurant as well.
And so how long it's the beginning of this year you joined Sally, is that right?
Yes, I started in December. So
Was it an easy decision to make?
I think I probably should have started after Christmas, but
Oh yeah, that's probably a busy time of the year to start.
yeah, but it was great. I mean, it was a very easy decision to make. Yeah.
And how would you describe the kitchen at the Pen?
It's great. It's a really nice working environment. It's like we have a lot of female chefs, which is you don't see a lot, which is really nice. And I think it's quite a nice safe space for everyone there to work together and like bring new ideas and new dishes, and everyone's more than welcome to change the menu with me and stuff.
So is it quite collaborative in terms of coming
Yeah,
up? Everybody,
yeah.
everybody can input ideas and have open conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
What's Sally like as a boss?
She's great. She's very supportive. Whenever I'm like stressing out, she's like, "Take a breath. Everything's gonna be fine." And she always knows how to fix all the problems.
Yeah.
Which I need help with.
And what kind of size team have you got?
It's only a small kitchen. There's 7 of us.
Yep.
But it's perfect.
And you did, you studied the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts?
Yes, I did. I went to Westminster.
Yeah.
And I did the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts for 3 years while working at the same time. It was like an apprenticeship.
Yeah. Where were you working at the time?
City Social.
Okay, so another busy place then.
Yeah, it was very busy.
Fantastic. Right, I should let you get on with the dish.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Phil, to interrupt you.
That's all right. See how I just let you do your thing there, Claire?
It's very strange because I can't see either of you.
I know I'm watching you on the telly. Well, they asked, what's Sally like as a boss? What's Jenny like as an employee?
She's great, yeah. I think, December was certainly a baptism of fire. I think for anyone to start in a kitchen in December is pretty brave, but we got through. But no, she's great. I think I'm quite like a creative, crazy, ideas person. But with that, I can be a bit chaotic sometimes. And Jenny is like very, very meticulous, very organised. So she's kind of like the yin to my yang, which is it's really great working together because we can both bring different things to the table.
Yeah, that's massively important, right? Especially when you're building your culture. Somebody takes your perceived weakness, makes it their strength, vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. So we're working really well together. We're just about to launch the new spring menu tomorrow, actually. So we're changing, 90% of the menu tomorrow, which will be fun. But yeah, we've worked really well together on getting that new menu, and like Jenny has worked at some really amazing, interesting places like Cole and Luca. So she's got like new and fresh ideas and things that I've not seen before to bring to the table. So I just really love that collaborative approach. And like she said, it's a collaborative approach for the whole kitchen as well. Like we actively encourage the chefs to like come up with new ideas for canapes, and we'll work on them, test them together. So it's really like everybody working together.
Right. Yeah. Is spring your favourite?
Spring is.
Is it every chef's favourite?
I think it is. I think you just get sick of the sight of parsnips, don't you? And the only thing keeping us going is rhubarb because it's the only thing with any colour. But now, obviously, asparagus, morels, peas, all that stuff is starting. So it's a very exciting time of year.
Yeah, that was the time everybody starts feeling alive again, isn't it, after the winter?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's great. And obviously you're based in a hotel. Talk us through how that partnership works, because we had Adam Smith on earlier on today. He's got this similar kind of partnership in tow with Coworth Park. Just talk us through how it works from your perspective in terms of what it brings to the table versus if you were, I suppose, maybe standalone restaurant out on a street somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, pros and cons to both sides of being either an independent restaurant or a hotel. One of the things about the hotel that is so great is that you've got all of these places departments that would support you. So when I was running the Harwood Arms, I was maintenance, I was HR, I do everything. If the drain's blocked on a busy service on Saturday night, it was me there rodding the drains. Whereas the nice thing about the hotel is you've got that sort of maintenance aspect, you've got a marketing team, you've got a sales team. It's a real collaborative approach, and everything sort of comes together. So, and you've got people with expertise in all of those fields as well. So it's like where at the Harwood I was a bit of jack of all trades. You've got those experts there, and also I think. Being part of Hilton, it's very structured, and I've never worked in a corporate environment before, so I've been learning a lot about the business side of things and how a hotel runs, and it's phenomenal actually. These places, they never close. Hotels, they're just there 365, 24/7, and it's a machine, to keep that going and ticking over all the time. So it's pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose by the same token, it just allows you then to just get on with what you're good at.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not have your head down a drain.
Exactly. Yeah. Not have to worry about all of the intermediate things. You just can really focus on the food and making the restaurant the best it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I think we'll go back and see how progress is going.
It's all looking very good here. So I think, Jenny, that's the hollandaise that you've added the brown crab meat to?
Yes,
is that
exactly.
right? I tell you, I don't know what eggs you're using, but that's a lovely colour hollandaise, isn't it?
It's Burford brown eggs.
Yeah.
You want to this colour is just delicious.
It's just incredible.
You eat with your eyes, right?
And so in terms of cooking the crumpets, how long roughly would it have taken to cook those?
So you just cook them in the pan, in these moulds.
Yeah.
And it takes roughly 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really fast.
And then once you've got a batch done, they're ready for service, right?
Yeah. And then we, when they're away, we'll put them back in the pan with some butter. And this dish is served warm, so everything needs to be nice and warm.
Yeah. And I think I've probably got a question, Sally.
Yeah.
So weird talking to you and I can't see. I guess it's kind of so obviously the PEM's really personal to you. Yeah. It's your baby. And you're really busy, so often your time means that you have to go and do other stuff somewhere. And you need a Jenny, right? You need a head chef. But as a boss, when do you know that it's okay for you to go, right, over to you, I've got to go and do a pop-up here or do this, that? What's that kind of process
the time frame?
Like letting a toddler walk on its own for the first time. Not, do you know what I mean? Because you're walking away and you're leaving your kitchen.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, we hired Jenny because she's an incredibly experienced chef. Yeah. So it wasn't like I was just this is a carrot. This is how you peel it. She's already got all of the skills to run a kitchen.
Yeah.
So as long as she's was familiar with the food and the style of service and everything, then it's just about training and making sure that she's confident and that she's got the tools to do what she needs to do. I think.
So what kind of time would that be, really? A couple of months or just
a couple of months?
Constant reinforcement kind of?
I mean, she started in December, so she learnt pretty quickly.
Whose idea was it to start in December?
It was mine.
So
I needed her to start. I was desperate.
But it is quite a thing, isn't it? When you taking on a new head chef rather than somebody that's kind of come up through the ranks. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a challenging time in that when sort of Letitia moved on. Letitia and I had worked together before, and obviously we'd opened the restaurant together. So we we're just doing it with our eyes closed.
Yeah.
So I think it's been, the end of last year and the start of this year for me has been about building the relationship with Jenny and, trying to understand her and what makes her tick and, how to work the best and get the best out of her. And I think I'm not the sort of person that would micromanage somebody. If she's got an idea, like the way she cooks the crabs, for example, that's her recipe, not mine, and I'd never say, no, you can't do it like this, you must do it my way. That's just not how I operate. I don't think that's like conducive for a positive working environment. Like, I think everybody's opinion and ideas are valid, so it's about encouraging them. And ultimately, Jenny is the head chef, so she is to run the kitchen. Like, it's for me to sort of oversee and make sure everything's going fine, and menu and all of that stuff. But on the day-to-day basis, it's Jenny's kitchen, and I want her to feel empowered in that sense.
And you've had a few collabs lately, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've just come to the end of a really amazing series, which we call the PEM Presents. So we basically had a different female chef every Friday throughout March in sort of celebration of International Women's Day. So yeah, it was great. We had Chantal Nicholson, Romy Gill, Poppy O'Toole, and Candice Brown. So very varied range of chefs, which was really interesting and nice to cook with them all.
So what was it like having them in your kitchen?
It was great. I mean, sorry. They're such influential chefs and chefs that I've always wanted to like work with. So it was just the most fun month ever. Like,
Was it? When did you decide that you wanted to be a chef?
when I was about 14.
About 14. Did something trigger that, or was it?
I started to work in this local French restaurant, and they taught me like all the absolute basics of cooking, how to make an anglaise and like everything. They were just really good guys, and it was so much fun. And I was just like, I think this is what I want to do for the rest of my career.
As a 14-year-old, what did your peers think? Your like kids, their friends in school, or as you go through school and into college, what did they think about you wanting to be a chef?
I think they find it really interesting. I think that they've always like been very supportive, and they just like me, always ask me loads of questions and tips and techniques of how to do things. Or like, oh, I have this vegetable, what should I do with it, and stuff like that.
And what about your family? About your parents? Were they pleased?
Yeah, they were really pleased. Yeah.
So I guess you do most of the cooking at Christmas Day then.
Yes. This year I was cooking on Christmas Day at the Conrad at the PEM.
Yeah.
So they didn't get to eat my food this
and
year.
do you keep in touch with the Royal Academy and Westminster? Do you do much with them still, or?
Yeah, I went back recently because we actually have an apprentice from Westminster with us. So we went back and we did like a mentor-y, whereas I went back as the mentor, which was quite. It was really nice. It was like a full circle.
Was it a little bit surreal?
Yeah. It was like, God.
Amazing. Right, let's let you carry on with your crumpets.
Hello again. One word that's come up a lot actually in this conversation, and I'm guessing it's part of your DNA, is collaboration. You just talked about some of the collaborations you've done with other female chefs across March, but you've talked about collaboration actually, and you're collaborating with Hilton, right, in terms of getting your stuff out, collaborating with other departments in terms of doing the best possible thing. So that's something that sounds to me like that's massively important to you.
Yeah, it's super important. I mean, nobody can do everything on their own, which is something that I have come to learn as I've got older. When I was younger, and like when I took my first head chef job, I just wanted to do everything on my own all the time, because I was like, if I do it, it'll be perfect. But I think the older you get and the wiser you get, you realise that actually you do need to work and collaborate with other people, and you'll actually end up with a better product at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next?
What's next? Well, we are obviously got a new menu coming out tomorrow at the PEM, and yeah, we're just Jenny's been with us 3 months now, so we're just going to really start pushing the food and see what we can do and where we can get with that. She's got lots of ideas, and I've got lots of ideas, so yeah, we'll be working on some lovely new food over the coming months, and then I've got a book coming out shortly as well, so that'll be out on the 6th of June. So yeah, that's pretty exciting.
And is that is it PEM focused, or is it a bit more than that?
No, so it's actually a memoir. So it's called A Woman's Places in the Kitchen, and it's basically about my journey from...
See what you did there?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I was very happy with that title. Yeah, so it's basically just about my journey of like when I sort of discovered and got into food, and then like I've worked at some pretty hardcore kitchens in London over the years, so it's just about my experience of that and how I've sort of navigated, and then how I've come to be where I am now, and the ethos that I have in my kitchen. And it is quite not unique, but there's a lot of kitchens that don't operate in the way we do, in that sort of collaborative, supportive way. So, and that's really, really important to me.
Right, yeah, that wasn't coming across at all. But I think we need to go back because it looks like
so Jenny's just started dressing the crumpet. What was this little mixture you've just put on top of it?
So this is the Welsh seaweeds from Carrymore, and we just...
Who do you get that from? You don't go out foraging in Wales every weekend, do you?
No, there's this great place in Wales who work like as a non-profit organisation to grow seaweeds and forage seaweeds and stuff.
What are they called?
Carrymore.
Okay.
It means the love of the sea in Welsh.
Okay.
But they're doing some really great stuff down there. So they send us the dried seaweed, and then we rehydrate it in our house-made kombucha. So it's just a simple black tea kombucha, and it gives it this really nice acidity to the seaweed. And then I put on top the white crab meat, which is mixed with hung yogurt and fermented gooseberries. So that gives it that acidity to the dish, but using English produce rather than lemons and limes.
So it's kind of fermenting and pickling something that you really like to do. So you like
I really love it. I think when you eat something and it feels like it's good for you.
Yeah.
It feels like your body's like, yes, give this to me.
Yeah. And it's still delicious.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
It takes food from one level to the next, I think.
Yeah.
And then we finish it with some oat crumb to give it a lovely crunchy texture.
Amazing.
And then we're going to coat it in the hollandaise.
And this is on the menu at the moment?
Yes.
Wow. As a starter?
Yes.
That looks epic. Sally, look at this.
It's delicious.
Yeah. What do we do on Sundays, Sally?
We roast.
I love that. Every Sunday I go onto Instagram and there's Sally going, we roast on Sundays. So is that not-for-profit seaweed company somebody you've been working with for a long time, or did you bring that supplier to Sally, or was she already working with them? Or
I've brought them. It was a friend of mine. It's his family that run it. So he introduced me to it.
So how hard is it as like busy working chefs, in particular in London? It must be quite hard to find new suppliers, especially like small, tiny, independent suppliers. It's to find the time to go and look for the suppliers and then research them and try their goods. I mean, it's obviously you're both really busy people, so.
It is difficult, but it's worth it when you find the right people that understand the produce that you want, and you want to have a good effect on this world, right? So you need to. And
in terms of the menu at the PEM, do you do much in the way of vegan, vegetarian, or is that just if people are vegan, vegetarian, you can do something? Or
no, we've actually got a really great dish on at the moment, which is vegan. And we do it. It's like a whole globe artichoke stuffed with pearl barley, mizuna root, and sunflower seed miso, and wild garlic velouté. People seem to really like that dish. We've had a lot of good feedback.
And is it quite? Because obviously you weren't trained as a vegan chef.
No.
So. To now, I mean, most places are, apart from Mark Sargent, most places are putting vegan dishes on their menus or vegetarian dishes on their menus. It's coming from quite a classically trained background to then think, I need to do a starter or a main course. It needs to be vegan, but it also needs to be delicious. Must be quite a lot of development and research when it comes to putting a dish like that on.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, but I think it's quite fun to find new alternatives to, like we do like instead of using egg yolk, we use soy milk, and then like how does that affect the recipe, and how can it change it? Is it like some of the switches are actually this is actually more delicious this way than doing it the classic way.
Fantastic. Right, so are you going to tell us exactly what this dish is one more time?
Yeah, so it's this is crab crumpets. You have homemade crumpets with Welsh seaweeds, fermented gooseberries, Dorset crab, and a brown crab hollandaise.
Amazing. And what is that, paprika or
Yes.
a little dusting? That's a little bit
paprika.
retro, isn't it? A little bit
Yes.
of retro paprika dusting. Jenny, that is fantastic. Thank you very, very much. Sally,
Hello.
you're a legend.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you.